Fun fact about this video, I am not wearing any pants. Why? Because it's my birthday, and on my birthday you go do whatever you want to do, and that means free balling it. And don't believe me? Well, here you go right here. Here you go. That is my ass. And now the whole world's seeing it. So there you go. Happy birthday to me, I guess. That's just how I roll. Now that you've seen my butt, now it's time for this review. So let's get into it. Don't Breathe 2. So Don't Breathe 2 is the sequel to 2016's Don't Breathe, a thriller suspense home invasion movie that came out that just was like, holy shit, this was pretty intense. And now the sequel for it came out just this weekend, it comes out officially tomorrow, and is this movie good? Say guys, not really. That's a shame too, because the first movie was kind of like, oh shit, it was like this like Diamond in the Rock kind of end of the summer thriller movie that was like, holy shit, that was a pretty good movie, I enjoyed it. Did it need a sequel? Hell no, it did not need a sequel. So when this movie was coming out, I was just like, oh, a sequel to that movie that didn't need a sequel. And now it's out, and it's not really good at all. Actually, best way to put it, it's kind of lazy. It's one of those sequels that will come like directly onto Netflix that just be like, oh, it's one of those like off-market sequels. That's what this is like. That it has like the main character from the last movie, so that's all it's got going for it. But at the end of the day, it's a movie that you kind of like just, you don't really need to see it. So let's get into the protocols why I believe that. Don't Breathe 2 is in theaters officially tomorrow. You can kind of skip it if you want to, but if you want to see it, here's what you need to know about it. Real acting in the movie. The main actor from the last movie, Stephan Lang, our blind Old Man Logan, he's back in this movie too, and he crushes it. It's probably like the best part in this movie because he just got that emotion, that vigor, that's like that animalistic energy that just like, yeah, don't fuck with old people because they'll just wreck your shit. I did like him in that aspect. Everybody else in the movie is kind of just gray sea cookie color forgettable. And the little girl in the movie that was kind of like, I felt like if she just had more to work with, she might have did better. She really had no emotion, no acting in her acting, if that makes sense. Or just kind of just like, she could have played by anybody, and it's just like, well, she's just a kid, so she's, you know, she's got some more time to develop that shit. Overall, the acting in the movie was just kind of just forgettable. You're not even going to care about something. There's literally like a moment a character dies, and then it just cuts away. You're just like, oh, that character died. What was his name again? Okay, plot in the movie. This movie actually doesn't really connect to the first movie. You don't really need to see the first movie to even watch this one, so already doing a bad job as a sequel. But anyway, you got my man, Old Man Logan and shit like that. He's just chilling out in his new house, just kicking it, and he's got this little girl, and everything seems all right, but he knows he's kind of like that, you know, oh, I don't want you to, you know, have friends and go off into the city and self by yourself. Stay with me, be protected. And then one day, these 3 or 4 assholes, they break into his house to try to get the little girl, and they end up getting the little girl, and now Old Man Logan's gotta go hunt them down and shit, Daredevil style. And that's the movie more or less. Approach the movie, okay, what can I say? The kills in the movie, I will say, it's pretty suspenseful in the first half of the movie. First half of the movie, when it's building up and shit like that, and they start breaking into the house, you're kind of just like, oh, like, it harkens us back to the first movie. Like, oh man, they're getting in the house, and it's just like, you gotta be stealth, you gotta be quiet. Like, how's he gonna do this? Because the man's blind, so you're just like, how the fuck is he just gonna do this shit? So the way he like kind of solid snake kills these folks like that was entertaining to watch the build up. But that was in the first half. Second half of the movie is when it kind of just gets lazy. You kind of just be like, okay, this is kind of just dragging on. It's kind of getting boring and familiar territory that we've seen better in other movies, because the characters start doing dumb shit, and it just starts falling into that lazy, dingy, predictable kind of like sequel territory where it's kind of just like just isn't even like enjoyable. It's kind of boring. Okay, there was one part in the movie that was like, oh, so they want to do that. Interesting. Okay, but when it's like all said and done, and it's kind of just like, it's a movie you're just going to be watching just like, okay, I'm kind of over it before the movie's even done, because I don't really care. It just wraps up just like, oh, the movie's over, so we can go home now. Okay. So at the end of the day, Don't Breathe 2 is a movie that was just like, okay, first half of the movie, it was good. It had build up. It was enjoyable. But then the second half of the movie is when it just kind of started going downhill. Stephan Lang crushes it as the blind man. Old Man Logan's getting the job done. He's blind as shit, but you know, he's the Daredevil. He can just take out dudes left and right being blind. Then the creative ways he takes people out, that was entertaining to watch. Everything else for the plot and as far as the acting and execution is just kind of just forgettable, and it's just you're not going to remember it at all. At the end of the day, I'm just going to say that Don't Breathe 2 easily a 4 out of 10, which is just okay. Hope you guys enjoy Don't Breathe 2 or not enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, guys, subscribe. Until next time.